Welcome, everybody, to the Divisional Playoff Week Pick'em Show with Leon Searcy. I'm your host, Mike Goodpasser. The show is brought to you by Gridiron Mo, so check that out at www.gridironmo.com. Check out Steelberg Box, another sponsor, RealBengalFans.com, another sponsor. But I want to welcome to the show, first up, Leon Searcy, who went 3-1 and won the first week of the Playoff Pick'em Show.
Go Steelers, baby. Go Steelers.
And I want to welcome to the show also a man whose team sucked really bad all year, 49er fan, Matt Andrew Scavenge.
Thanks for the intro, Mike. Appreciate that. Congrats, Leon.
All right.
You pulled it out.
Thank you, sir. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, even though we know Leon's real team's the Jacksonville Jaguars. And we got another Miami Hurricane in the show, former Denver Bronco, Mark Cooper. How you doing?
Hey, fellas, go Broncos, baby. Leon, I'm sorry, man. I love you, but not this week.
It's all good. It's all in love.
Greatest defense in NFL history is what you're facing this week, Leon.
That's right. Bring it, baby.
Mm-hmm.
So, what's your takeaway from the first week of the playoffs, Matt?
Oh boy, the Vikings really, man, that was tough to watch at the end. I mean, the Seahawks definitely really gritty. You know, they're probably the team that nobody wants to face right now, but they were definitely on the way out. I think everybody thought Blair Walsh was going to make that kick, and unbelievable that he missed it. And boy, Seahawks have escaped a lot of games this year, and now they got a tough one against Carolina. But I think a lot of people think they can beat Carolina, so I think it's one of those situations where, you know, that was their chance maybe to get them out, and who knows how far they can go now.
All right, Leon.
I kind of agree with what we said last week about the Steelers and Bengals going at each other. I just knew it was going to be a bloodbath. I knew that there was going to be some fisticuffs, going to be a lot of trash talking. And whatever team escaped with a win is going to be limping into the playoffs the next round. And I think the Steelers may be limping a little bit. No one knows what Ben Roethlisberger's situation is with the torn ligaments in his shoulder. There's got to be concussion protocol with Antonio Brown, and don't know what his status is going into the game. They've got little nicks and bruises here and there. So I know Big Ben's probably going to play in the game against the Broncos. They're going to probably shoot that on up. But I don't know how effective he's going to be going into that game against a very potent Denver defense. So it's unfortunate that these guys are banged up and have to go into next week into Mile High. So that's going to be trouble. But we're still going to come away with the victory, Mark, just so you know.
All right. So, Mark, what's your takeaway from the first week of the playoffs?
Well, like I had talked earlier in the year, the Chiefs are freaking hot and very, very consistent. You know, the Vikings guy, you know, Adrian Peterson, everybody gives him a bunch of crap about that fumble, but one guy had one arm while the other guy was stripping the ball with the other. So you feel bad for him, but, you know, missing that field goal late, boy, that's tough. Reminded you of the Buffalo days. You know what's fun? If Pittsburgh, a Bengal game was a blast to watch, man. I love those games when they're just nitty-gritty getting after each other and you have to keep your head on the swivel and may the best man win kind of games. You know, the Packers kind of just ran over the Redskins. That wasn't even interesting. But, you know, this next week I think is going to be the telltale week. But it's been kind of a year of attrition, man. Guys falling left and right and trying to get guys healthy and who's on the upswing and who's the most consistent. And right now, boy, the Chiefs look like they're coming from behind. You know, the Panthers were playing strong, and I always love my Broncos, and you got a good Cardinals team. So this is going to be another great weekend of football.
Yeah, my takeaway from the first weekend was it sucked. So we're going to go to the first game. No, I mean, seriously, it sucked. And then the fact that I got to keep seeing on social media all these Bengal fans signing petitions and they're going to boycott the Super Bowl. I mean, grow up. I mean, the NFL did not – I didn't see an official strip the ball from Jeremy Hill. I didn't see an official shove Pac-Man Jones and say, hey, go talk crap to Joey Porter. I mean, Joey Porter shouldn't have been on the field, but there's no reason Pac-Man Jones in the biggest game he's probably ever played, couldn't have just walked away for once in his life. I think the perfect hit on Antonio Brown, you guys played in the NFL. When you're going that quick, everything's that close, it's hard to pull up. I don't think that he actually did that on purpose. I think he's being suspended for past transgressions. If you watch the hit he put on Max Williams in the end zone at a Baltimore game last week of the season, that's probably what he should have been suspended for. But it's just Marvin Lewis has no control over his team. And I saw people say, well, he lost control of his team. You can't lose control of something you never had control of. And, I mean, the Bengals, once again, were a disappointment. They were missing their starting quarterback, still should have beat Pittsburgh, and gave it away. So I think my takeaway is the same thing it's been the last 3 or 4 years with the Bengals, is they need a new head coach, but it's not going to happen because they have Mike Brown, who, if he was a drunk, would be able to usurp Searcy as the worst owner in football. But a lot of times with the decisions he makes, you think he's either drunk or brain dead. I'm voting on probably both. But we'll go to our first game of the week, which we're going to go with Mark Cooper. And that game would be Carolina against Seattle.
I don't like Seattle, just plain and simple, as good as football they play. And Pete Carroll's good a job as he's done with that crowd. I really love Cam Newton. I love what he's done all year. And I'd love for him nothing more than to see him just beat Seattle to a pulp. So I'm picking the Panthers and hoping he does just that.
All right, Leon.
Yeah, I'm picking the Panthers, too. I think this game is the changing of the guards. I think the Seattle Seahawks has dominated the NFC over the last few years. I think this is a statement game for the Panthers. They're at home. They've got the momentum. They've got a rock-solid defense just like Seattle does. It's going to be a battle between Cam Newton and Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson has been lights out the last few weeks. He's been playing outstanding football. But I think Cam Newton's going to rise to the challenge. I'm still a little concerned about their inability to run the ball. But Seattle is struggling as well running the ball. But Cam Newton's going to have to take the blunt of all the offense on his shoulders, and he's got to find a way to make it happen. I've been going back and forth with this game with Seattle. They were actually one of my picks to make it to the Super Bowl. But I'm not going to pick against Cam at home with everything riding on it. So I'm going to go with the Panthers to beat Seattle in this game.
All right, Matt.
Yeah, I think this is the hardest game to call, but I'm going to go with Carolina. I think being at home is going to help. The defense is very good. I don't think Seattle is going to be able to put up a lot of points on the road. The real question is going to be, though, is how is Cam Newton going to respond to this defense? They are going to get Jonathan Stewart back. But they were able to get him earlier in the year at Seattle. Granted, that was without Bobby Wagner, but still, I think they can put up points. I think it's going to be a very close game, very difficult game. Seattle's not going to make it easy, but I think Carolina can come away with the win.
Yeah, I'm torn on this one. I think both teams are really good defensively. They're going to have a hard time scoring. I'm going to go with the better quarterback, so I'm picking Seattle to win this game. I think Russell Wilson's had a year that people have really underrated. They got away with one last week, didn't play really well. But Minnesota, minus 6-degree weather. Minnesota's defense is very tough. Seattle's battle-tested. I'm going to go with Seattle, and I think it's a toss-up, but I was 1-3 last week, so I got to make up some ground. All right, Leon. Next game, New England hosting Kansas City.
Wow. Hey, this is a very interesting game. New England's getting healthy. It is Tom Brady. They're at home. They're going to be getting some key components back on both sides of the ball. Don't know if the guys will be rusty, if they'll be ready to go. But Kansas City has just been on a roll. I mean, it's hard to pick. I mean, their defense is stellar. They get after the quarterback. They put pressure on Tom Brady. Tom Brady's offensive line is makeshift at best. At times, they've been interchangeable parts throughout the season. The guys, centers have played guards have played tackles have played. It's just all crazy. I think the Chiefs have enough to go into their Gillette Stadium and win. I think if they play the way, I think if they play a sound defensive game, force Tom Brady into a couple of mistakes. I think if they control the game, they play efficient, don't turn the ball over, I think they can go into New England and come away with the upset. It's not going to be easy, but I see them winning by at least a field goal. So I'm going to go with the Chiefs 20. I'm going to go with the Patriots 17.
All right, Matt.
Yeah, what Leon said is right, though. I mean, the Chiefs really do have what it takes to be a real problem for New England. There's no question about it. I'm picking the Patriots. I do think they're going to come away with it. I think they're going to be at least just enough healthy to win this game. It's really hard for me to pick against New England at home. It's just the first game. Bill Belichick does not generally go out in the first round. I think they come away with the win, but I do think Kansas City is going to make it difficult.
Yeah, I think Kansas City definitely make it difficult. They're a hot team. But, I mean, you got Andy Reid and Alex Smith against Belichick and Brady. I know football is more than just that, but I'm not going to pick against New England right here, even though I do think this is a toss-up where if you'd have told me I was going to be saying that 4 weeks ago, I'd have thought you were nuts. Mark?
You know, I'm going with the Chiefs. I know y'all are picking the Patriots, but I'm going with the Chiefs only because they've been on a roll. They've been consistent. They've been in the hunt every week. New England's getting a few guys back this week, and I'm not sure of the exact number of guys or who, but even when you're back for the first week or the second week, you're not necessarily in tune, with the game. Sometimes it takes a couple, 2 weeks, 3 weeks just to get back in the groove on a game day standpoint. So, they've been beat up through the end of this year, and the Chiefs have I just like the consistency that the Chiefs have brought. It's like you say, it's tough to beat those guys at home, tough to beat Belichick and Brady at the same time. But the Chiefs are used to playing in cold weather, so I don't think that's even a factor. And just the way they've been playing the past 7 weeks, 8 weeks, I'm going with the Chiefs.
All right, so we got two of us pick New England, two of us pick the Chiefs. We're going to go real quick, go pay some bills. So check out this word from our sponsor, SteelbergBox.com.
I'd like to tell you about our new website, www.steelbergbox.com, a monthly fan box service built to take a fan's passion for the Pittsburgh Steelers to a whole new level. Offering 3 different fan boxes to choose from and several different plans, fans are guaranteed to get way more value in their box than they paid. It's simple. Drop by www.steelbergbox.com. Choose the category and size: men, women, youths, and infants. Then, pick one of our 3 Steelers merchandise fan boxes. After you choose your fan box, hit subscribe. Then choose your monthly plan. You're done. Go Steelers!
All right, we're back with the Grueling Truths Divisional Round Pick'em Show with Leon Searcy, Mark Cooper, Matt Andrews-Cabbage, and myself, Mike Goodpaster. Next game, Matt, your favorite team, the Green Bay Packers at the Arizona Cardinals.
Well, I got to give Green Bay a lot of credit. They really made some adjustments in the second half. Washington just looked like they were sleepwalking. They just couldn't get in a rhythm. They did come out in the second half and score, but right after that, they just couldn't get anything going. Green Bay was able to get the run game going, and the defense played well. I think that they played very well that week, but I just don't see any way they can go into Arizona unless Carson Palmer throws like 7 interceptions. Arizona should be able to win this. Now, I don't think they're going to win 38-8 like they did last time. It'll be a closer game, but I do think they win by at least 10. I think Arizona's just a better team. I think Arians a better coach. And just the overall, team versus team personnel, Arizona's just got a better roster.
Yeah, and Green Bay hadn't played well up to last week. let's face it, Washington had beaten nobody with a winning record all year also. Kirk Cousins' first playoff attempt. And also I want to bring this back up with Jay Gruden from Washington losing in the playoffs. Mike Zimmer loses first round in the playoffs. Where do they all come from? Marvin Lewis. So I think it might be the curse of Marvin Lewis there. Anything Marvin touches loses in the first round of playoffs. I'm definitely going with Arizona. The main reason I go with Arizona here is Mike McCarthy is a good coach, that's it. I think Bruce Arians is one of the better coaches in the NFL. I think Arizona wins this game, and I think they go on to win the next one, and I think they end up in the Super Bowl 50. So I'm going to go with the Cardinals by a couple touchdowns. What do you think, Coop?
You know what? I think the Cardinals-Packer game is going to look a lot like the Chiefs-Texans game, but not as many points, obviously. I'll tell you, you're kind of getting a little bitter, aren't you? There, just kind of relating everything back to the Bengals. But
I'm thinking about going. I'm thinking about going to Marvin Lewis's house and TPing it. I'm not sure.
I think there's
That's what we used to do when I was little back in the '80s.
Look, I'm going to give you this 1-800.
House, and then I'm going to ding dong ditch his ass.
Oh my God. Look, there's a 1-800 do not commit suicide number I'm going to give to you as soon as we get off the air. Okay?
I don't need it because I'm used to this. All right, I'm built for this abuse. I've been a Bengal fan since I was born, which was in 1968, the same year they were, and they've barely won more playoff games than I have.
Oh. Okay,
we got fans that bitch about Andy Dalton because he took the team to the playoffs 5 times and they lost every time. But Boomer Esiason and Kenny Anderson played for the Bengals for combined 25 years and went 5 times. But go ahead, Mark. I digress.
I'm not sure that's called digressing. I think that's ranting and raving and stomping and okay.
But it's all right because I digressed. I digressed. Quit bitching and just talk, all right? Pick the game.
Okay, all right. The Cardinals are going to win this game hands down.
The hell are you laughing at, Matt? Your team sucks.
We tried to warn you that this was going to happen, Mike. It's just kind of funny.
I already knew it was going to happen, but it don't make for a good show.
You didn't know 5 weeks
ago.
Year.
Hey, I had the timer on. I knew it was coming. I was just waiting.
Well, see, actually,
it was just a ticking time bomb.
This is the thing.
We all tried to warn you.
Was different. The way they were playing, I did think this year was different until Andy Dalton broke his little finger or his thumb on a helmet. I mean, come on. What kind of crap is that?
Football.
I mean, really. We're rolling along, and then our quarterback goes down. I mean, come on. Then we go to Denver, completely outplay them for the first half, and in the second half, Marvin Lewis decides to get a tight ass again and run the ball every play in the third quarter after they just threw the ball up and down the field on what some people think is the greatest defense that ever lived.
Yeah, and what happened? Y'all came away with an L.
Because Marvin Lewis played not to lose against a team that was inferior. And, I mean, there's no doubt that every team in the NFL, player-wise, is inferior to the Bengals.
At the end of the game, all it did is look at the scoreboard.
Yeah, that's all you could do because you texted me that you were getting off a plane in an airport. So what the hell else are you going to do? You couldn't watch the game, Mark. That's just a smart ass.
No, hey, you know what's funny about that game? I watched that game.
You watched the overtime, you said.
No. You slide your credit card, right, and you're watching the game. So I'm watching the whole game. We go right into overtime as we have to get off the airplane. I sprint into the terminal, and I find the closest television, right? So I'm thinking, okay, I'm in Miami Airport. There'll be some other places open, a bar down the way here. So I watch, first part of that overtime, and then run, start the next television, and by that time the game was over. Crazy.
Well,
crazy night.
And the bad thing was that television was probably only 20 feet away from the other one. But that's a joke about you not being real fast, Mark.
Scoreboard.
Scoreboard. Yeah, whatever. You went to the U. You can't even spell scoreboard. Leon.
Easy.
Arizona, Green Bay.
Hey, this Arizona's they're going to kill Green Bay. That week last week, that was a blip. That was against the Redskins. They had beaten the Chiefs all season long. The offensive line actually protected Aaron Rodgers for the first time all season long, but they're going up against a defense that gets after you. Both ends, both tackles, rock solid defensive back, secondary. I think it's going to, like Mark said, this is going to be a game where you're going to see that the Cardinals are clearly the better team, and I don't see the Packers scoring that many points. I think the Cardinals are probably the best team in the NFC, and if they play like it, they should win this game easily. So I got the Cardinals on an easy win.
All right. Well, we got to take one more break before we get to our final game, which is the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Denver Broncos, which I'm sure Leon and Coop want to talk about. So check out this word from Gridiron Mo, and we'll be right back.
This is former All-Pro Leon Searcy. I've got a new interactive app called Gridiron Mo, where you get to call the plays, offense or defense, and a live NFL game. You get to interact with other fans, pick the play, pick the call. That's Gridiron Mo.
All right, we're back with the Divisional Playoff Show with Leon Searcy, Mark Cooper, myself, Mike Goodpaster, and Matt Andrew Scavage, who's a 49ers fan, which I like to bring up because it makes me feel better about myself right now. We're going to go to the last game, which is Pittsburgh at Denver. I guess I'm picking it. I'm not real comfortable with Peyton Manning. There, I said it. He's like, 40-some years old, 40 years old. But Pittsburgh, as Leon said, and we talked about it last week with the Bengals playing the Steelers and the way that was going to go. They beat each other up so bad that I think it's going to be really hard for Pittsburgh to come back and beat Denver. I'm going to go with the Broncos. The thing that bothers me, though, is even going with the Broncos, even though those guys are out, the Broncos are going to have to throw the ball to win it because Pittsburgh's defense really stops the run well. I still doubt their defensive backs. I think they're going to have a hard time keeping up with Demaryius Thomas and Emmanuel Sanders. I think that will be the difference in the game. So I'm going to go with Denver to beat Pittsburgh 178-3. Coop, what do you think? I don't like
Leon,
I don't like the Broncos
Leon,
either. I don't like Peyton Manning. I don't like anybody right now. Go ahead.
Hey, do you got anybody? You ought to get a sponsor for My Doll. I think that would help you a little bit here, but. Let's go back to the Broncos Steelers game. Leon, I'm so sorry. Leon, I'm so sorry that you guys.
If I believe for a week, I'll die. Go ahead.
Okay. But you remember old Gary Dunn that plays for Pittsburgh?
I remember.
Yes, I do. Number 67, wasn't it?
Yeah. I talked to Gary today, and we got our ongoing bet. You know what our bet is? He sends me a dozen stone crabs claws if the Broncos beat the Steelers, and if the Steelers beat the Broncos. I'm on a double or nothing bet, by the way, since it was only a few weeks ago. But then I have to send him, basically send him 12 buffalo steaks, right?
Well, I'll tell you what, I would really worry about making a bet to get crabs from a Steelers fan.
He's down at the Keys. He's down in the Florida Keys. But no, he's a really good buddy. As long as he's not in Pittsburgh, we're fine. Because Leon knows how that is, don't you, Leon? And anyway, they got a great legacy, and I, you know what? When I'm not rooting for the Broncos, I'm rooting for the Steelers, and it was always fun to play the Steelers and Oakland Raiders and the Oilers back in the day because those were just slugfests because they're all tough physical teams and know how to get after it. But like you said, if Ben's probably shooting up to play this game, he may get out early. Antonio Brown, the concussion thing. Y'all are coming in here a little, disabled. But you know what? That's the NFL, man. We played y'all with Ross, with Brock last time. So, turnaround's fair play, right? Anyway, you can't. The home team, Denver, the fans, the stadium, the whole thing that's going to go on here. I'm picking the Broncos, and you almost wish that Roethlisberger's going to be in there because what? It's tough to beat. I think the Broncos twice in 1 year. And Wade Phillips is a hell of a defensive coordinator, so I think it's tough to beat Wade too. Just with 2 games almost back to back like these are going to be. Mm-hmm. So I'm going with the Broncos.
All right, Leon.
All valid points. It is. I've played in Mile High, tough place to play. Altitude, fans. Peyton Manning, he'll be back in the game. The receiving core for the Broncos is going to probably give our secondary a little bit. They're going to give them a lot of trouble if we don't get after Peyton Manning. My hope is that Peyton may be a little rusty, a couple of overthrows, a couple of missed throws here. Pittsburgh has got to make them one-dimensional. The Broncos really haven't had that much success all season long running the ball, so we know Pittsburgh's going to be stout in that area. We've just got to be able to disguise coverage. We've got to be able to roll zones. We've got to be able to capitalize on the matchups that we can present defensively, especially in that secondary. Like Mike said, that secondary has scared me all season long. They just give up too many big plays, too many big passes. And against Peyton Manning in Mile High, that scares me. In saying that, Pittsburgh, depending on how Ben Roethlisberger is, if he's healthy enough, that shoulder, I'm a little concerned about his deep ball, his ability to get the ball down the field, because if you watched him in that Cincinnati game, they weren't too many long throws. There were a lot of dink and a dunk. I think his longest throw was maybe 15 yards within that last minute. And then, the meltdown with the Bengals, with the penalties and all that kind of stuff, put us in a position to win.
All right, can we just talk about this game coming up?
Play by play.
And saying all that, I can't never pick against my Steelers. The chips are stacked against them, just like they were last week.
You picked against the Steelers at least 4 times this year, Lee.
Not in the playoffs. You don't have it on record unless you got it recorded. I didn't say it, but I'm going to pick the Steelers. I'm going to pick the Steelers in a close one. I'm going to pick the Steelers 21-17.
All right, Matt.
Yeah, I like the matchup. I like it a lot more if Roethlisberger, Antonio Brown, and D'Angelo Williams are there. Because I think there would be a lot more reason to think that Pittsburgh could get some points on the board. It's just a tough defense no matter what. But I think Pittsburgh might be able to muster a running game. I mean, we saw two backs be able to run for almost 200 yards on the Bengals. And they did really well. Nobody really gave them a lot of credit going into the game. I believe we all thought that Pittsburgh would have a really tough time running the ball against the Bengals, and they did really well. It's going to be tough to muster up that kind of performance again. But I really worry about the quarterback position. And without Antonio Brown, I just don't know where Pittsburgh's going to get a lot of points. Denver's defense is really good. I'm going to pick Denver, especially with Peyton Manning back, as long as he doesn't throw a lot of interceptions. I got to believe he's going to play well and be able to get back to the AFC Championship game. So 21-17 is probably going to be my score, but I'll go with Denver.
All righty. Well, I guess Pittsburgh's going to lose this week, Leon.
We'll see. We will.
And I'll enjoy it. And then I'll enjoy it next week when New England spanks Denver and the annual, Peyton Manning getting beat by Tom Brady. And then everything will be fine
in our
for
house.
our Super Bowl show.
That'll be in our house.
It doesn't matter whose house it's in.
Oh, it's going to be in the house of
They
pain.
got Tom Brady. Peyton Manning's lost at his own house a lot of times in the playoffs.
Remember 2 years ago? You remember 2 years ago in Mile High? I was at that game. I'll tell you, it was electric. I mean, the stands were on fire. We beat them in the AFC Championship. Was that the year you guys got beat by 300 points in the Super Bowl? I can't remember that.
I thought it was. I'm not sure. Or was that the year that Baltimore beat them on that long pass there after
it was, Manning? It was the year that another year the Bengals weren't in the playoffs. One of those years.
Yeah, they were. We're in the playoffs every year.
Well, for one and done.
So so the Broncos.
0-7. You said it. 0-7. No, you said 0-7.
And wasn't that 3 years ago you guys won? Because the last 2 years you lost it.
0-7. Crying your milk.
So we've been there 7 times. It's better than being a 49er fan, and they never get to go.
Yeah, we never got to the AFC Championship game 3 years in a row. A couple of years ago, we weren't there.
Oh, but you didn't win anything, and you always told me it only matters if you win.
You can't say nothing. You're not even the AFC North champs this year, according to your
I can say whatever the hell I want. It's my show. I can put you on mute.
Okay. Right. I can re-edit this and just take you right out of there.
It doesn't matter. I can download it and find somebody.
In fact, I think what I'm going to do is start the show off with all your predictions of the Bengals winning the Super Bowl.
I didn't pick the Bengals to win the Super Bowl.
That would be perfect.
I picked New England at the start of the year to play Minnesota. Wait a second. Yeah. You would have to change some things to be able to do that. But if we go back to our Super Bowl picks, my Super Bowl pick was New England over Minnesota. Both made the playoffs. Your Super Bowl pick was Indianapolis over Green Bay?
No, I had Seattle. I did not have Green Bay.
Oh, you had Indianapolis over Seattle. All right, that makes it much better.
No, I had Seattle over
Leon's
Indianapolis.
Leon's Super Bowl pick was the Jaguars against the Buccaneers, right?
Well, all right.
What was your Super Bowl
how
pick?
About
You were
this,
New England against Green Bay.
I know you had the Bengals coming past the first round.
Yeah, I had them losing the New England championship game. The Bengals are 1 seed. They don't lose. And with the loss in Denver, they could barely beat A.J. McCarron, who's not very good anyways. But I digress.
But you digress.
I looked that word up today because every day I try to learn a new word and use it as many times as I can. And today I came up with digress. So, Mark, you have any final thoughts?
No, it's been a fun season to watch. It's been a crazy season. I not only your pick 'em show, but others that I've heard about, not many guys have had great success because there's been so many oddball games this year. Have you guys seen that as well?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but the one good thing is
this is a weird year.
Leon Searcy had a rough year because he was in last, but me and Matt did pretty good. We tied for first.
Well, the season ain't over yet. Hell,
the season is over.
We got to win the playoffs.
All right,
we got to pick it up a little bit.
That means right now Matt is up a game over me, and he's up 5 games over you. And there's not many games left, Leon.
Well, we're not doing total games. I thought we're
we're
I
not.
thought we were
Leon
changing
just
it for the playoffs.
The season isn't over yet. That was his words, Matt. You're winning.
No, I thought we changed the format for the playoffs where it's a clean
Well, we were
slate.
going to, but now since Leon doesn't want to.
Now you don't want to.
I'm in the lead, yeah.
Oh, come on, Matt. You could have been in the lead all by yourself.
Yeah, man.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, the season has been strange. There's been there's probably been 3 weeks this year where I don't think any of us won more than 6 or got more than 6 games right. And I think we
That's
had
what I
one
mean.
week.
How crazy is that?
Yeah, like week 2 or week 3, I think we all 3 were like
bad.
4 and 12.
Yeah, there's been a number of weeks.
Terrible because
like
I remember asking Leon and Matt. I said, "You think we had to tell everybody we all tied for first, or you think we had to tell them what our record was?"
Yeah.
So we just told everybody we was tied for first.
Sounds better.
But Leon, any final words?
It's been a fun playoffs. It's been a fun play. I think that the real teams are going to stand out this upcoming week. You'll recognize the Super Bowl teams by the way they play. This game is.
So that means the Steelers are out. Matt, do you have any final words?
I just say that whatever teams win this upcoming week, I think they're going to be convincing. So I wouldn't be surprised though if the AFC both home teams lose. I hope going into the game. So
I hope. Yeah, then that would mean you guys. Well, who would beat Ohio? Yeah, Kansas City would host the championship game then against Pittsburgh.
Yeah, that is right.
That's not going to happen. Matt.
Well, like Mark said, this has just been a really weird year. I think we talked about that a lot. I know that was one of the things I really felt going into the year. I just felt like this would be an off year for the NFL, just bizarre. I mean, the injuries really was bad. For just about every team. I mean, it was a really bizarre year. But all in all 4 road games winning last week. That has never happened before. I think all 4 home teams are going to win this week. I just think the odds are best. But I mean, obviously the Seattle game is the one for sure that's really, really tough to call. But all in all, I think this past weekend was a good weekend in football, and we're going to see another one.
All right, and my take on this football season is this: until Andy Dalton got hurt, it was a great season. After that, it don't matter. Once Dalton got hurt, it didn't matter. I mean, the trophy will have an asterisk by it. But I digress.
You got to make an Instagram rant like Pac-Man Jones did.
I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about videoing it and talking about all these mother waters.
I think that would go viral.
Yeah, we can make it go viral. Pac-Man's did, but then he took it down. But luckily, like everybody in the world had already saved it or recorded it, so he couldn't really get rid of it. So
that was pretty funny.
I'd like to thank everybody. Last week we had our biggest week yet. We had over 6,000 listens altogether. Make sure you check out the Grueling Truth Facebook page. Check us out on Spreaker, Stitcher. Should be on iHeart within the next couple months. Did an interview today that'll be up shortly with former NFL quarterback Jeff Kemp, which should have already been up, but the guy that edits the show...
Hey, don't get mouthy. I can just go to sleep.
Hey, now you sound like Marvin Lewis in the last 3 minutes of a playoff game.
No, if I sounded like Marvin Lewis, I would say, it's really on me to make sure that my players play with poise, and it's really on me. He takes ownership for all of his players completely playing out of line.
He should take ownership before it happens. We will have a Bengals show, which should be really entertaining tomorrow night with myself and Joe Kelly. We might have to make that an explicit show. And Leon,
right?
if you want to come on, I'll have to approve it with Joe first, because Joe's about to beat somebody's ass over this. So I'm cool to be getting in a fight with you. But so make sure you check out the Bengals show. We'll have a top 10 divisional playoff games of all time on Thursday night. Make sure you check out our sponsors, RealBengalsFans.com, SteelbergBox.com, and Gridiron Mo, which is www.gridironmo.com. So for Mark Cooper, Leon Searcy, Matt Andrew Scavage, I'm Mike Goodpasture. You've been listening to The Grueling Truth, where the legends speak.